Two onwards, uh, there were many small things were happening in Hyderabad, to which Majlis was responding in its own way. But the most important turning point was the year 1938, which saw the emergence of the Satyagragha in Hyderabad, which was announced by three groups: Congress, Arya Samajis, and the Hindu Mahasabhas. The Congress wanted, they were doing Satyagraha for the sake of responsible government. They wanted Nizam government to introduce the new constitutional reforms and introduce the elections and all those things which the Congress, Indian National Congress, was propagating. Whereas the Arya Samajis and the Hindu Mahasabha wanted to have these Satyagraha in order to fight the Nizam government for the sake of Hindus. Because Arya Samajis and Mahasabhais said that Hindu religion is not treated fairly in Hyderabad. So they said Hindus need more civil liberties, and they wanted to protect the Hindu religion from Nizam state, from the Nizam government. So these three groups announced for a Satyagraha, which continued for a couple of months in 1938, and in which thousands of people were brought from outside Hyderabad, because no one in Hyderabad were ready to participate in these Satyagrahas. Because according to the history, according to the records, it's like 12,000 people participated and got arrested in Hyderabad, out of which only 1,500 participated from Hyderabad state itself, whereas the rest of the 10,000, more than 10,000 people, were brought from outside Hyderabad to participate in these Satyagrahas. But this Satyagraha was cancelled by the Congress, because Gandhiji felt that this Satyagraha is mixing the politics and religion, which is not good for the country, in which they don't believe, Congress doesn't believe. So the Congress withdraw from this Satyagraha, whereas Arya Samajis and Mahasabhais continued the Satyagraha for a couple of months, and then later they also withdrew from this Satyagraha. As a response to these developments, Nizam government felt that there is a need to go for a constitutional reforms in Hyderabad state, and formed a committee under the chairmanship of Armadu Aiyangar, which later became famous as the Aiyangar Committee report. This committee submitted a report recommending different constitutional measures which Nizam government should take, so that Hindus' participation can be increased in the political decision-making processes. So like that, they recommended for 81 seats, which were distributed among different professions and classes and groups and all that. So from Hindus, from Muslims, from Dalits, from Christians, from traders, from farmers, from lawyers, from teachers, they fixed a quota, and who will be represented in an assembly, and this assembly will have certain powers. And the committee recommended for some extra powers into this assembly. This report, when it was submitted, the MIM started criticizing this report, saying that this report is unfair and these recommendations is not acceptable, because it is going to undermine the Muslim position in Hyderabad. And their agenda, they announced that their agenda is to maintain the status quo of the Muslims in Hyderabad. They said this committee report, if recommendations, if implemented, will have a drastic effect on the Muslim representation in Hyderabad, Muslim power structures in Hyderabad, and will give an upper hand to the Hindu communalists, who are taking the form of Arya Samajis and Congress and etc. So this became an important part of Majlis. So, in the pre-48 period, if you look at the history of Majlis, then the Majlis response to the Aiyangar committee report became the most important factor which gave very prominence to the Majlis in Hyderabad Muslim affairs, in Hyderabad political affairs in general. This Majlis response to the criticism to this Aiyangar committee report was the one which made Majlis extremely popular among the Muslims. So, this was the first and most important contribution of Majlis to the Hyderabad politics. The second important factor which made Majlis very powerful and very popular was Majlis' attitude and response towards the propaganda of the Hindu communalists in Hyderabad. Because if you look at the propaganda which is being done by the Hindu communist groups, you will find that there were so much allegations on the Nizam state and the Muslims that Muslims started becoming nervous, and even the Nizam state and administration was also becoming apologetic and nervous. At this moment, Majlis came forward and said that you don't need to compromise with the Hindu communists of the northern India, who have come to Hyderabad with a different agenda. So you need to be strict towards these groups, and you need not to be apologetic. And they tried to show to the common Muslims that you don't need to get scared and afraid of these groups who are doing a very false kind of propaganda, and also tried to convince the Hindus of the Hyderabad that you don't believe in these groups' propaganda. And so this part, apart from the Aiyangar committee report, Majlis' response to the Hindu communists of the northern India, the upper caste communists of northern India, became the most important, the second most important aspect which made Majlis quite popular in Hyderabad affairs. I'll stop this.